Welcome back to Perks Recap. Okay, I am so excited. All right, I did a Tom Petty list like 2 weeks ago. It was perfect. Tom Petty's top 5 songs. It was perfect because it did well, and people were talking in the comments, and that's what I wanted. There was other people gave me their list, introduced me to some new Tom Petty songs that I don't know, and I've done it actually a couple since then, and I got some more planned. And it was just a lot of fun. It was lighthearted and fun, and I really enjoyed it. Tom Petty is absolutely one of my favorites. Now we're going to do Nirvana today. Nirvana, part of the grunge movement that absolutely put the death nail into glam rock and 80s hairband rock, was basically killed off when grunge came along, and it never came back. And I don't hold that against grunge. I like the 80s stuff too, of course. But I got to say, it was probably time, it was probably time for that it had its moment to shine. It was time for something new. And the 90s gave us the grunge era. And I always think of the grunge era as my second favorite era of music and after classic rock. Although blues now is pretty much tied neck and neck with grunge for my favorite genres of rock music. I like basically rock music in general, but there's metal, there's grunge, there's there's blues rock, there's all kinds of stuff. Anyway, classic rock, blues, and grunge are tied for second there. Anyway, we're going to do the top 5 Nirvana songs. This is just my opinion. It's to generate a conversation. It's to get your list of your top 5 Nirvana songs. Maybe you'll introduce me to a couple that I don't know, although that might be tough. I know a lot of Nirvana. I think I know everything they've done, or at least have heard it all once. But either way, give me your list of your top 5 Nirvana songs. I'm not going to introduce the songs before we get to it. We're just going to go to them, and then I'll talk about them afterwards. So we're going to start, of course, this is a top 5 list, so we're going to start at number 5. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Here we go. My number 5 song on the top 5 Nirvana songs of all time, in my opinion.
Mom and Dad went to a show.
That bass.
They dropped me off at Grandpa Joe's. I kicked and screamed, said please no. Grandma, take me home.
There you have it. That is Sliver. That is my number 5 song by Nirvana. This was a very difficult list to do, but I'll get into more of that later. Sliver, that bass at the beginning, that bass just grabs me every time. I love that bass at the beginning of the song. And I didn't realize this, but the Pixies had this, I want to get it correctly right. Quiet, loud dynamic was like a song style that the Pixies used a lot, and apparently Nirvana picked that up from them and used it throughout their career. Like a lot of times they use this quiet, loud dynamic, and this song is an example of that. And this is an early song, so this is probably one of the earliest examples of that quiet, loud dynamic that they picked up from the Pixies. But yeah, I mean, just such a playful, interesting topic. Being a child, going to your grandparents' house, not enjoying your meal, you couldn't chew your meat too good, fall asleep, you go outside, ride your bike, come back in, fall asleep and watching TV, and then you wake up in your mother's arms as the night's ending, as they come back and pick you up. I think there's some degree to that. I think a lot of us can relate to. But Kurt Cobain said it was the most ridiculous pop song he could write. And they recorded it in 1 hour. And the circumstances were funny. Their label mate, Tad, I'm not entirely sure if that's a band or a person. I don't know who Tad is. But their label mate, Tad, was on a lunch break in their recording, or his recording session. And Nirvana jumped in during their lunch break and recorded this in 1 hour, start to finish, completed it in an hour. That's just an interesting little sidebar. Anyway, I enjoyed that. Hopefully you did too. Hopefully maybe that's on your list. Let me know. I saw a list when I was doing some research for this of top 10, top 20 Nirvana songs. One of the lists had this as the number 1 Nirvana song, and I can see it. It's really good. But anyway, for me, it's number 5. Let's get to number 4. Okay, so that one was About a Girl. I picked the unplugged version of the song because that's my preferred version of that song, but all versions are good. The original album version was on Bleach, the album Bleach, and I just like the unplugged version more than the regular studio one. That's not the only time that the unplugged show is going to be on this list. In my opinion, their unplugged album is the best unplugged album I've ever listened to. Eric Clapton's was great. I know Alice in Chains was excellent, but for me, the best unplugged of all time is Nirvana's Unplugged. Just absolutely amazing, and the cover songs they did were so great. Anyway, Kurt Cobain doesn't have the voice like Elaine Staley or Chris Cornell or some of the others, but his voice is definitely unique, and it's not like it's bad. It fits the songs perfectly, fits his personality perfectly, and I enjoy his vocals as much as anything else in the band. 3-man band still rocking the house, and don't forget Dave Grohl is the guitar player, or is the drummer, and he's the leader of the Foo Fighters right now, and he started the Foo Fighters after Nirvana ended, and has gone on to superstardom, and is a big deal now, and he was just the drummer in the background here for this song, and for the entire band's existence, really. This was about his 21-year-old girlfriend, or when he was 21-year-old, his then girlfriend, Tracy Miranda, and just, discussing their relationship and how much, crashing on her couch and, being, I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I get it right, crashing on a couch and taking advantage while being hung out to dry for his slacker lifestyle. Definitely a slacker lifestyle, definitely unique, definitely different, but the song is kind of poppy a little bit, but I just really like it. A good song is a good song, and this is just a really good song, well written, well constructed, as most Nirvana's things are. Anyway, that was number 4. Let's get to number 3. Oh. All right, we don't need to get too much into that. I think everybody knows that. Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's iconic. It's legendary. It is their biggest hit of all time. It is probably regarded as their best song, or at least by most people in their popular opinion anyway. It's not my favorite song by them, but it is number 3. It's right there. I love it. That opening guitar riff is iconic. As soon as I can guess that song, within you tell me you're going to play a song, and within 1 second I'll know that it's this song. 1 second I'll know just by that opening guitar. Just amazing, awesome. There's not much else to say, really. Anyway, there's not much to say about it. It's that good. It's so awesome, and I know Kurt Cobain actually ended up hating the song, and actually would purposely play it bad live so maybe the fans wouldn't want to hear it. He did stuff like that. It says that arguably no other track in the history of rock has had the instant landscape changing effect of Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's part 70s classic rock anthem, part 80s alternate awkwardness, and almost I mentioned this earlier, almost single-handedly killed off glam rock, and even knocking Michael Jackson off his chart-ruling perch at the time. Kurt hated the song by his death just 3 years later, and would often deliberately mangle its live performances, even outrageously melding it with Boston's More Than a Feeling at the 1992 Reading Festival. Purposely playing it bad because he hated it that much. I mentioned this before in other reactions. These bands, when they have these iconic songs and they go out and tour and they're around for a long time, they weren't even around for that long. But, these other bands 40, 50 years, 30, at least, or 30 years, 20 years, whatever. Bands that have been around for a long time, there's certain songs that they just have to play at every show. Because if not, the audience will feel, cheated. And I often wonder, do they ever get sick of it? Do they end up resenting some of the songs sometimes? And there's an example of it. He got sick of it, and he ended up resenting the song. He did not like the song by the time of his passing, obviously. But regardless, it is iconic. It is legendary. It is absolutely awesome. I love Smells Like Teen Spirit. Let's get to number 2. You have it. Number 2, All Apologies, back to the Nirvana Unplugged. This is actually off the In Utero album. Again, I prefer the Unplugged version. As any song that's on this Unplugged, I prefer the Unplugged version over whatever, even the covers, whatever else they're doing. Even the originals to the covers, I prefer this Unplugged version over. But regardless, this is not a cover. This is their own song, obviously. All Apologies, just a great, great song. It's the final song off Nirvana's final album. It seems to overflow with this is what this is saying. It seems to overflow with sadness in retrospect. There's a playfulness in the lyrics with like I wish I was like you, easily amused. But also says married and then buried. Yeah. Kurt did say that the song was about peaceful, happy comfort that he wished for his wife and daughter. Notice he doesn't say for himself. I don't think he was ever peaceful, happy, and comfortable, especially with his success. He did not know how to handle it. And he changed the lyrics at the end of this one to all alone is all we are. There is a sadness to that, considering his fate just a few months later after this was recorded. So, but we did get a great piece of music there. That's a great live performance. I just did a Foghat album, and I said that it's great because it's from front to back. You don't have to skip any songs. That's the same thing with this Nirvana Unplugged album. Just play it from the start, and you don't have to skip anything. It is fantastic all the way through, front to back, beginning to end. It is just excellent. Okay, before we get to our number 1 song on my list, again, this is my list, I have some honorable mentions that I want to mention. Aneurysm is an honorable mention. Come As You Are, Rape Me, Heart-Shaped Box, In Bloom, Something in the Way, and Drain You are all on my list of honorable mentions. So, what does that leave us for our number 1 song? If you know Nirvana's hits, you know Nirvana's albums, and you know Nirvana's stuff, there's one song that I have not mentioned that is very good, is excellent, and is my favorite Nirvana song. Let's get to it. My number 1 song by Nirvana.
I'm so happy 'cause today found my friends are in my head. I'm so ugly, that's okay, 'cause so are you. Book on mirrors, Sunday morning is every day for all I care. And I'm not scared, light my candles in our days, 'cause I found God. Yeah!
So there you have it. My number one Nirvana song is Lithium. I just love this song. It has that quiet, loud dynamic again that they picked up from the Pixies. It's not. It's just excellent. That opening guitar and bass at the beginning, and just everything about it. The lyrics are fantastic, and it's a rocker. It's a headbanger. I just can't get enough of it. Unfortunately, it's about manic depression and the more obvious condemnation of blind faith displayed by born-again Christians that Kurt Cobain grew up with. It is named after the lithium compounds often used to treat bipolar disorder and manic depression. This is what this says. There's a satisfying bluntness to lyrics like, I'm so happy because today I found my friends. They're in my head. It's just, yeah, unfortunately, it's like a blatant cry for help. And at the end it says, I'm not going to crack, which also is kind of sad because we know his fate. But again, the messages in these songs, the meaning of these songs is not what makes the song, so great for me. He left us such an amount of music that is just so fantastic. I cannot get enough of this song. Nevermind was my first Nirvana album, and it was like I think many people would do when you find a band that's been around a little bit and you get an album that you really, really do love. Nevermind, front to back, is another one. Front to back, you can listen to the whole thing straight through. Absolutely fantastic. But once I got that, I had to go back and check out some of their other stuff, Bleach and Incesticide and things like that. And then when In Utero came out after Nevermind, I immediately bought it. And then after In Utero, and he passed away, then they came out with the Unplugged, and that's one of my favorite albums of all time, period. Not just the best Unplugged album, one of my favorite all-time albums, just albums. And it is the best for me of all the Unpluggeds. Anyway, that's my Nirvana top 5. In case you didn't catch them all or you're forgetting, Sliver, About a Girl, Smells Like Teen Spirit, All Apologies, and Lithium is the top 5. Tell me your top 5 Nirvana songs. What songs you like, what songs maybe that are not on my list. And there might be a few songs by Nirvana that I don't know. And if they're on your list and I don't know them and I recognize that I see your list and I don't know the song, I will try to get to it and put it on the channel too, like I'm doing with the Tom Petty stuff that I didn't know after I did the Tom Petty list. Hopefully you guys enjoy this list as much as that one. I like these things. I think they're great conversation starters, and that's the point of this. Anyway, if you'd like to donate to the channel, information for Venmo and PayPal is in the description below. It's also at the end of this video on those cards. Also in the description will be the links to all the songs that I just did. The links to my social media and all that good stuff, and all the information about my podcast, Perks Recap Podcast. Wherever you find your podcast, you can do a search for it and find it. Doing some baseball content. If you want to come on and talk music, I would definitely welcome that. And that's going to do it. If you want to talk about some of these lists, that would be really cool too. Anyway, I enjoy this. Hopefully you do too. Until next time, I will see you later.